Hello. In this video, we're going to work on Ultratech, and it is not part of any learning path in TryHackMe, but it is one of the room included in the Linux privilege escalation path on TSIM security to get the practical network penetration testing certificate. Refresh this room because I'm already completed it, so reset the progress, and we're going to go ahead and jump straight into solving this room. This room is inspired from a real-life vulnerability and misconfiguration I encountered during a security assessment. If you get stuck at some point, take some time to keep enumerating. Your mission have been contracted by Ultratech to pen test their infrastructure. It is a gray box kind of assessment. The only information you have is the company name and their server IP address. Start this room to deploy the bottom right. Well, good luck. More importantly, have fun. If you have any comment, go to Discord, TryHackMe Discord. So we deploy the machine. Enumeration time after enumeration. So let's go to start our Nmap. So before I do anything, I'm just going to make a Ultratech folder and cd to that Ultratech, and we clear this terminal and then create a couple more tabs so I could keep it a little bit clean, have a fresh kind of working space. Zoom in so you could see. All right, let's just launch our Nmap. We're gonna keep it simple. It is a Linux machine if I remember correctly, so we're just gonna go ahead and use T4 for the timing, so a little bit of faster scan, and tag A for aggressive, tag VV for very verbose, tag P tag to scan all the port, and tag ON to output this to an Nmap file. Just specify that, and just going to go ahead and copy the IP, paste the IP here, simple scan, because we all aware most CTF doesn't have any firewall or the defensive mechanism, so it is, pretty much straightforward. And even if on a pen test, from what I learned, you want to be detected anyway as a pen tester. As a red teamer, on the other hand, it's a little bit more stealthy. But anyways, let's go ahead and do that. We see two ports so far, with port 22 and port 21. Should be a port 8081 here, so we're just gonna wait for that. And software using the port. Okay, so I'm just gonna let this scan and grab myself a cup of coffee. All right, our scan is finished, and we find 4 ports, I think. So 21, 22, 8081, 31, 33.1. So yeah, let's look at the port 81. It seems like Node.js is the software that is running. So let's copy and paste that. It is. And also another standard port that is used, I would say non-standard port. Okay, non-standard port that is used is the 31331. For the software using this port, I think it's Apache. Okay, which GNU Linux distribution seem to be used? Ubuntu, I think. Yes. And the software that is using port 81 is a REST API. How many of its route are used by the web application? So we're going to simply do a trace route on this. Trace route, and then we're going to type the IP. I think I could copy paste that. Nope, I didn't copy the IP. Let's copy that. And then just type the port. So 8081 is the port we want to trace route, and it's gonna do a little bit of trace route there. Leave it for a couple seconds. Ooh, it says 7, but I don't think it's 7. It should be 4. Okay, let's do it again. Yeah, it is 4. No, what? 2. There it is. Because it's only, this 2, 1, 2. It does 2 hop basically. For some reason, the first one it shows us, 4 or 5 hop. Sometimes stuff like that happen. It's better to double check. So that's that. I think I already have copied a lot of this stuff on my note. Yeah. So should be good. We could visit 8081 on our browser now. So we're gonna go ahead and copy and paste the IP and type 8081, and we see Ultratech API version 0.1.3. So we're gonna go to the next step. Now that you know which server are available, it's time to exploit them. Did you find somewhere you could try to log in? Great. Well, not yet. I haven't tried yet. Quick dirty login implementation usually go with a port data management. There must be something you can do to exploit this machine thoroughly. The root of evil. Okay, so there's a database lying around with the file's name. We're gonna look at the hint. look closely into the API is used. Don't spend too much time on the auth. It isn't the only route available. So we could try Buster this. Gonna do Buster tag u and then just do this command. I'm going to explain the command a little bit later. 1 second. So just type the IP here basically and give it the port 8081. All right, so let's see. One last thing. I want to fix this 3ferg.txt here. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep the Buster pretty simple. Buster is pretty much like Dirbursting, GoBuster, whatever you want to name it. It's does the same job. I prefer Buster because I think from the default setting it is much faster. It does the scan much faster, and sometimes it doesn't stall the site. If you get what I'm saying, it's basically like some other software use what it called thread. Thread is basically the timing of it, like the Nmap T4 and so on. So basically, most other software use different timing or thread. They started off with more thread, and for some reason it just stalled the site. With Buster, on the other hand, with the just default setting, from my experience, the default setting, not only it's fast, and a lot of time it doesn't stall the site. It doesn't slow down the site to like a grinding halt. So that's why I prefer Buster. And the setting, like in terms of syntax, so simple. The syntax for Buster is basically Buster tag u for URL, and we're going to type the HTTP IP of the target, so 10.10.60.78, and the colon at port 8081. For tag W, it is word list, so we're going to use the user share word list Dirbursting directory list 2.3 medium.txt. And for the C, if you want to filter out bad code, like whatever code you want to filter out to exclude it from the scan, so 400, 4142, 43, 44, 500, 51, 42, etc. I wish there's like a command where you could just type like 40 and then a asterisk, which is the wildcard sign. I wish I could do that. I'm not sure if I could do that with other software. I'll look into it once I get a little bit deeper. Currently, basic enumeration, I think try to be thorough. It's more important than just like whatever syntax you use, in my opinion. So last thing, we're gonna type the tag O. It is output, so you're gonna output it to fergbuster.txt or ferg.txt. Simple as that. Give it a scan, and I'm just gonna drink my cup of coffee. So on Fergbuster, we found auth, and I looked at the hint. Auth doesn't give us a lot of clue here. It seems like auth is basically a login page. Okay, so you must specify a login and password. So, but the room itself telling us not to worry about it too much, so we're gonna not trying to do anything. We also could look into the FTP. I'm pretty sure the FTP doesn't allow us to log into any account, so let's give it a try anyways. Try anonymous and no password. Login incorrect. Makes sense. We're gonna do it again. Try administrator. Login incorrect. We did look at the Nmap scan. Doesn't seem like Nmap try any login credentials. So sometime if you do a Nmap scan, it's also tell us that the anonymous login is allowed, but this time it doesn't. So it seemed pretty clear that Nmap doesn't have anything for us. Okay, so seems like Fergbuster try a decent amount of time already, and if it take too long, you could also look at the other ports. So if you remember, there's another port that is running with Apache. This one is a little bit more juicy in my opinion. It seems like it's running with Apache, so we could look into this. Obviously I already done this room, so I know which port to look into, but let's paste the port and paste the IP, give it a colon, look into that. And yeah, so this one is basically a basic website that running on with Apache, and seems like it's, let's look at the source code for funzy. Hey, what are you looking at? Hey, I'm looking at you. This call to action, there's a email here. We could save that. Actually, we could to ultratechjobmail.com. So this might be important if we're doing in a real life type of assessment. On some room, it actually, pretty useful actually. Look into source code. Source code is a pretty good place to look into. So let's do a quick Control F and look for version. See if we find any version. There's one version here, but it's a W3, like an SVG type of thing. It doesn't seem like anything we want to look into. All right, so doesn't seem like port 8081 is that important to us, because the Ferg Buster, we gave it a while now, and the only thing they find is 3 directory. So it's a pretty fair hint that it's either, you know, the room creator is a little bit of a troll to make like a directory that used the last pretty much the last word of the word list. But I don't think this is intentional. They're not troll. They're pretty serious here, because, you know, they give us hint that auth is not that important, and the only thing we find is auth. So we could cancel that and scan. By no means, because I know some CTF room is a little bit more CTF-y, if you know what I mean. It's more like piecing the puzzle than basically doing a more serious enumeration. So I feel like this room is more serious. I left this alike because the work, the end of the day, like the methodology we're gonna use in this room is a little bit more realistic from my experience, based on what real life pen testers said. So they all said this one is actually pretty good. But hey, let's do another Ferg Buster with port 31331. So let's just type that 31331, and oops, okay, that's fine. And then I'm just gonna type a 2 Ferg Buster here to create a new file. So basically the same syntax, just change the IP, not the IP, the port, and the name of the file, so I don't want to overwrite the old one. Let it scan. Usually if you see a scan go this fast and give us a lot of result, it means that this port is a lot more juicy, it's a lot more like informational. And we can look at this first scan here. This probably the second result. Well, the second result is we want to look at what.html. We could copy the selection and paste it on our browser, and this thing is written in a gray text, like semi-transparent too. So to do, fill this part. To do, tell the unpaid intern to fill this part. We don't have time for this. So about us, what are we doing? Is this can be like it's in my opinion, it's a little funny. Look at this color. It's like E2. It's like gray. Color for this is basically gray. Look at the hex color. That's fun. Anyways, didn't you read the about page? We're doing fintech, big data, AI, and lead stuff. Maybe you're not lead enough if you didn't precisely understand what our company is about. Fun. All right, so something we looked into. What? Okay, so you can also try the contact us. Let's see here, contact us now. There's an email, so not much we could work on. I wish they redirect you to basically a contact field. We could also, you know, do a little bit of a cross-site scripting. I'm pretty sure not my best strength, because web enumeration or web pen testing is something I haven't deeply learned into yet. Currently I'm mainly focusing on the network penetration testing, but looking forward to do that. Web pen testing is probably my next goal. So okay, so nothing good here. We could look at JS. There's JS, so JavaScript. There's an API.js here. Since the room talking about the API, we could look into that too. So oops, clicking on the wrong thing. All right, this seems like this is more useful. It seems like it does the get API and then ping to the IP and then window location host name. That can be useful because this shouldn't be exposed. The API so like the API also go to auth too. So give this a try. Actually, let's see here, look at the API. So we could try see any other scan we can look at. We could also try robot.text. So we're gonna type robot.text, robots with an S actually. Yeah, there's all text sitemap on here. Direct to that. Oops, a little bit misclick here and there. Actually, I need to use different mouse. All right, there's what.html, and there's index.html, and then there's partner.html. Okay, that's useful, I guess. But I want to answer this first question here. Database lying around. I want to see. All right, it seems like we could do a little bit of API injection in this. I'm just gonna paste this link by pulse by Pulse on API pen testing methodology or Impact Security Inc. And it's gave us a little bit of info on how to do a little bit of API injection. Great links with great information. So if you could see here, I actually Googled this and find a similar type of command to this constant or constant URL HTTP, and then get the API URL and then do another ping to IP. So we could try inject that with like it's similar to, let's say, local file inclusion, similar to that basically. So we could give that a try here. I think we can do this on this port or port, no, actually on port 8081. Since this one doesn't have much, yes, since this one is running the API, so Ultratech API is the one we want to attack. So we basically copy and paste the syntax of this API, paste it onto port 81. So we're basically gonna try to do a ping IP and then a $sign. See if we get anything from here. We could do curl hit too. There's no perimeter as specified, so we get some response. That's nice. So we can try the local port. Let's try 127.0.0.1. Oh, my cursor is on top of the URL bar, so I can't see what I'm typing. I can't type either. That's fun. Yeah, so it does a ping here to local port, and it's get the response back. So they give us some response here. So we could try Matilda is the signage. Let me look at this up. So it's basically on top of the tab, the top right of your keyboard. I think this sign called Matilda. What sign is this? What sign is this? Oh, I just forgot I can't use ChatGPT on Firefox for some reason, so I have to open up Chromium. Please, I can use Chromium. Keep saying Chromium. Let me do NN here. Okay, so we on Chromium browser instead of using the Firefox. For some reason it does that for the past week for me, but we're just gonna push along. Gonna move the ChatGPT bookmark to the address bar or like the bookmark bar, and then we're gonna look up what is this sign. Backtick. Okay, not Matilda. What is Matilda? Oh, Matilda is this, right? So Matilda is this. Oh, tilde. All right, so that's fair enough. We can also look at the IP. Oops, I closed this one, but this one is fine. Explain this with the ChatGPT. This is JavaScript code defined immediately invoke function expression on IIFE and immediately invoke function expression. Perform a related check-in status of the API. Let's break down step by step. The structure, create an anonymous function that run immediately after the definition. It helps encapsulate the code and avoid polluting the global scope. Debug message, helper function, get API URL. This function construct a URL based on the current host name of the window and append the port to 8081. This means it's assumed the API is running on the same server, but on a different port. Check API status. Yeah, this is one we want to basically pen test or attack. Error handling, try catch, block handle any error may occur when sending a request. URL construction, yeah. So ping endpoint past the current host name as a career perimeter. So we also already try a ping ls here, and we're gonna use the backtick and ls. Yeah, and we get the utech db SQLI. The reason why I use backtick instead of the apostrophe is I think they've written this in here, if I'm not mistaken. When I did it the first time, I do like a quick search. Yeah, so they did try to ping this example.com, and they get the respond back to example.com, right? But let's not get too bogged down into this. I think we already got what we want here. So the database that is lying around is probably the utech.db.sqli. That's good. And we could use this to basically ping the database. So give that a try. Oh yeah, okay, not found. So let's just do a cat. I actually want to cat this. So again, this is like basically a remote code execution in a way. Yeah, it does give us the password for Mr. Root TF or Mr. Root here, and then this could be our hash. If we can look into, so we can do a hash ID here, pack M, and it's mode 0. I think it's MD5, so we can do a hash cat for this. Crack a little bit of password here. 0A0 user share wordlist rockview.text, and we get our password. It's result to N100906. That is the password, and we could copy the hash here too. So that's good. So the first user password hash, this one all the way to the left, it's basically gonna ping, and basically we do a cat, do a little bit of exploit here. We do a injection to the API code and do a cat. It's basically gonna concatenate the UTechDB SQLite or SQLite, one of them database. Basically, it's gonna give us the response back to the hash of Mr. Root and madmin. But we're not too worried about madmin yet because, well, Mr. Root looks simple than it is. But the first time I did it, it was not easy. It does give us some the hint though. We will rock you.text. Anyways, so we could try to SSH that to root. Alright, let's finish up our frag buster. I think we're already done here. We got what we want, so we could SSH to root, and then IP of this, and the password for root is N100906. Paste that. Oops, should I copy and paste that? Oop, no. N100906. Permission denied. Let's give it a try again. I think it's root. Oh, root with 20. That's why, because of this, I got that a little bit confused. So root, and now it should make sense. Boom, this password, and we're in. Do a little bit of LSA. Give ourselves an ID here. See what permission we have. We don't have much, but there's a Docker, and that's something we want to look into. Docker here. It already tells us when we type ID, so that's good. The permission for Docker is a little bit higher than most. So if you confused, just do that, copy this whole thing, and make Mr. ChatGPT explain it for us. From what I see, I know that 116 is one of the higher privilege. So yeah, so again, 116 Docker indicate that the user is also part of the group with the GIDs 116, which is the name of Docker. Typically mean the user have permission to use Docker. In Docker, since it is at 116, it had higher privilege than say 1000. It was that supplementary group set up to this common who need elevated privilege. User need elevated privilege to manage Docker container. Yeah, so this account basically have the privilege to manage the container. You could try doing that, but let's just enumerate for a little bit. You could try linpiece, but save us a little bit of time here. We could try linpiece. Just gonna launch the, I'm actually gonna cd to tool because that's where I store all my tools. ls here, you can see linp is safe in here. Going to start the Python server, tag m port 8000. That's fine. We're gonna do a quick wget with this wget http. Actually, I'm gonna cd to temp. I typed there. I've been so used to do a little bit of a lot window escalation lately, so all I've been having type is dir. So anyways, same thing, it's gonna work. Good thing Linux recognized they're better than Windows not recognizing ls. But anyways, let's not get into that. We're gonna type wget http /1013, basically my IP 47211, basically the IP of the Python server, port 8000. We're gonna download linpiece.sh, and on Linux we don't have to output it to any file. It's basically download it like this in ls. Look at the linp.sh. Before we execute it, we're gonna give it a execute permission chmod +x linp.sh, and then we're gonna run /linp.sh. Going to start the enumeration for us, save us a little bit of time. Congrats, you make this far. You should be able to comfortably run command server by now. Now it's time to final step. You'll be on your own for this one. There's only one question here. It might be more single ways to reach your goal. Mistake were made. Take advantage of it. The container related to present is user bin docker. So that's where the docker is. We can look at that. So before we do anything, let's look at our GTFObin, see if Docker is available on here. Yes, it is. And to run a shell, basically Docker run tag we, I think it's a mount, and remove an IT alpine chroot mount sh. Breakout restrict environment by spawning an interactive system shell. We could run that, but we could change this to bash basically, since the system running bash instead of alpine. Right, is my word list no linpiece ready? And it is. You look into it. Doesn't seem like it has much. It has a KBX for public ring. That's cool. But we're basically gonna use this command here, and I'm gonna open up Sublime and change this to Bash. Since it is running on Bash instead of Alpine, we're gonna basically exploit using this command and try to break out the restricted environment and basically run a root shell. So that is the most simplest way to privilege escalate this. Boom, and we get root. So we could type who am I? We are root. We type ID. We have all the permission we want. There are no root.text here. There aren't any user.text either. We're just gonna have to look into the SSH key. Since we already used the linp, we could also find where the SSH key is storing to. Let's see. User share open SSH ID configs. I don't think that's where it's at. It could be in roots. It just could be in root. Let's cd to root. In ls, we see private.text. Cat that for now. I think it's just some funny quote. Oh, so we can't use tab on here, so we have to type it out. Yeah, more of the most successful digital norm dad, thin block tech entrepreneur in the world by himself. Chapter 1, how I become successful. We get LSLA on this to list all the file available on here, and we find .ssh, so we could cat .ssh. Oh, it is a directory, so cd to that first. I missed that. Okay, we get LSLA again. Oops, we can't use backspace. I forgot about that. And yeah, we look for the private SSH key, so it is IDRSA, so we could cat the IDRSA. Can backspace again. I forgot about that. Can IDRSA. What is the first 9 letter? Let's count this. 9 character. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's stopped from the first A. And that's it for the room. I think, in my opinion, for this room, it is pretty fun. You get the API to run, like do a little bit of a API injection. Again, thanks to this blog by Impact Security Inc. Published last year, almost a year from currently from where I'm at. So yeah, thanks to this, I found basically the exploit to inject the attack exactly the same way we did the ping on this. So you see here, ping IP cat, and we cat out the credential. So thanks to this, there should be a little bit more enumeration here. I mean, you could try using say, you know, the quotation mark instead, or the apostrophe, but it doesn't give us anything. Name of service unknown. I managed to get the backspace to run. That's nice. Yeah, that's it for this video though. I want to keep it simple because the point of this video is to remind myself to basically enumerate all the ports that are HTTP. Sometimes one port doesn't work, gotta look for the other, and they both run HTTP, and this one only respond to the API requests basically, and this is just a regular website. And yeah, that's it for this video. I kept it simple. Hopefully I do enough explanation. If it's not, that's my bad. Because a lot of this are trial and error, to be honest. I remember when I was doing this, it took me a while to get this to run, but you know, look at the clue given by the room, the API itself, and try different things. Keep trying, keep testing out. Look at robot.txt. Robot.tech was useful, and do a lot of googling. The Google and web searching should be your friend too when you do web pen testing. That's it though for this video. I ramble long enough. Hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.